Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday morning Mind the Moment gathering. My name is Tara Healey. I'm the program director for Mind the Moment, the mindfulness program of Point 32 Health, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and Tufts Health Plan. And I just want to welcome everyone. And for anybody that might be joining us for the first time, a special warm welcome to you. These practices are fully guided, usually like 12 to 14 minutes in length. We often kick it off with an opening question, although this morning I'm going to read a poem that Suzanne Rowe Palacino, who was our host for a number of years, the past 3 or 4 years, and recently, very sadly, passed away. But there are two poets that she loves, John O'Donohue and Dana Faulds. And I'm going to read a poem by Dana Faulds rather than kick it off with a question, which is how we often start. And then we save time at the end for Q&A and sharing of resources. So if you have been listening to a podcast, or there is an app you like or a book you've read related to mindfulness practice, there's an opportunity at the end to share resources, but also just to check in with each other. So if you have a question or want to comment about your practice, there's an opportunity to do that. So what I would encourage everyone to do, and I'm going to do it right now as well, is open up the chat and select everyone from the drop-down menu. That way, that's how we'll communicate with each other. So yeah, so just good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you, and as always, really delighted to start my day in this way. And I'm just back from a week of a retreat, and it's such and many of us were commenting like that the practice can be kind of a lonely practice, that we often are doing our meditation alone in our homes. And it makes a difference to gather as a group, because this is something that's pretty simple, but it isn't easy. We are learning to steady our minds, not trying to stop thought, but just steady the mind. So each time a thought arises, not a problem at all. We just simply acknowledge it, thinking, soft mental note thinking, soften the body, and we return again to an anchor or something that we're using to help stabilize attention. That could be tracking breath sensation anywhere in the body where you feel it most prominently, or it could be sound. So if there's a sound in your background that's consistent, you can use that. But just the idea of being able to practice with a group is really helpful. And also, I always think that there are people meditating all over the world, almost any time of the day that any of us are practicing. And Insight Timer does a really good job of showing you who else is practicing. So with that, I'm going to read this poem by Dana Faulds, and then we'll go ahead and move into a practice. Again, the practice will be anywhere from like 12 to 14 minutes, and it'll be fully guided, but with periods of silence. So this is called Allow. I'll put my glasses on. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in, the wild with the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of your heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. And that's always been one of my favorites too, because so much of this practice is about allowing and letting go of resistance. So when we think about mindfulness, and the definition of mindfulness is that it's a quality of mind that's awake, that's aware, and that knows it. So no longer lost in thought, because when we're lost in thought, we don't know it. A thought slips in and we're chomping away at it, some narrative in the head until we wake up from it. So it's awake and it's aware and knows it. You know where your attention is. But the second part of the definition is really related to the poem Allow. So oftentimes culturally you'll hear it as non-judgmental awareness, but I want to just unpack that and say that it's really a type of awareness that is receptive, curious, and open to whatever is happening. It's an allowance of whatever is happening. So some things are pleasant, they're easy to allow. Some things in life are unpleasant, those are much harder to allow. So, but it's like a backing in and a receiving, as Dana Falk says, really allowing for the whole experience of whatever is arising and releasing or working with resistance. And even resistance, when you see that, you allow the resistance and feel what it's like in the body. So I wanted to kick it off with this poem and also um, tie it to mindfulness and to the definition of mindfulness, that, you know, everything is included: thoughts, emotions, body sensations, what we like, what we don't like. We're seeing it all and we're feeling it physically in the body. So I'm actually going to start us with a body scan. And it's often the way I do my practice when I'm home, is starting with a body scan. And then the second half of it will be really training our attention on an object to help anchor and ultimately steady the mind. Kind of like exercise. You know, you do the same repetition, usually lifting weights or walking or something, in order to build strength and flexibility so you can then bring those qualities into the service of your world. And when meditation, we're just coming back each time the mind goes into thoughts, we're just bringing the attention back over and over again. Repeating that actually helps bring some stability. The word I like often is calibration. You know, you're really learning to calibrate the mind and then employing that steadiness into your day-to-day life. So let's go ahead and select a posture that feels like it's going to work for you this morning. So you could be seated, you could be standing, you could also be lying down. I would suggest, if you decide to do the lying down practice, to um, if if you're worried about falling asleep, probably don't do that one, but that's a fine posture if you're feeling up for it. So let's go ahead and settle in, eyes open or closed, whatever feels best for you. If they're open, gaze downward just a little bit to help remove peripheral distraction. And you want to hold the body in a way that is upright and engaged, yet easeful. And take a couple deep breaths on your own. Make the exhalation a little bit longer than the inhalation as a way to just settle any surface tension from the activity of your day. So go ahead and do a couple deep breaths. See if you can surrender your weight into the support of the ground below and really feel that you are being held. So you can just really drop right in. Feel the support ultimately of the earth below. And just checking in with the body. What physical sensations are you aware of from possibly a busy morning already? So pulsing, vibration, temperature. What's being expressed in your body, whole body awareness, and just allowing. So you might have sensations that are unpleasant, might have sensations that are pleasant, some that are neutral. Just see how things are, what you're noticing, what's physical sensations are occurring, perhaps aware also of the points of contact with the back of the body and the surface that you're on. What do those points of contact actually feel like? And seeing if you can also notice the contact with your clothes and skin. So we're going a little bit more subtle. Do you notice where the clothes touch the skin and what does that feel like? And let's take a moment to expand awareness to include sound that may be occurring in the room that you're in or outside of the room. Just hearing, engaging the sense of hearing. And allowing sound to remain in the background as it will, arising, doing its thing, and moving on. Let's bring awareness back inward and land attention on the very top of your head. So we're going to just move through the body, isolating different parts of the body, noticing sensation or lack of sensation. So isolating the top of the head. And then coming down over the sides and the back of the head. And let's move awareness now to the face, to the forehead and eyes, to the nose, the cheeks, the jaw, mouth, lips, tongue, teeth, chin, holding the whole of your face in awareness, softening to the degree that you can. Moving awareness down over the neck, and sweeping down over the shoulders, both the left and the right. So just letting your attention rest on the shoulders, and bringing that kind of curiosity and receptivity to whatever sensations you're aware of or lack thereof. Let's move attention now down over the upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands. So again, just receiving, isolating this part of the body. And release and bringing awareness to the torso. So the whole front and back of the body and internally. So feeling from the inside out, softening to the degree that you can and receiving, letting go of resistance perhaps that may arise. Bringing a kind of care and compassion to your body. And bringing awareness now to the hips and thighs. And perhaps if you're seated, there's awareness of contact with the surface. And again, try feeling from the inside. And coming down over the knees. So let's isolate the knees, top, sides, back. And finally, sweeping down the lower legs, calves and shins, the ankles, the tops of the feet, the toes, bottom of the feet, the heels, receiving sensation, feeling from the inside to the best of your ability, from the inside out. And releasing that. Let's come back to whole body awareness for a moment. Aware of the whole body, any areas that are calling to you. Let your attention go to that particular place just for a moment, aware of what's happening, either an isolated area or the body as a whole. Feeling what's being expressed, sensations, points of contact, close. And for the remainder of the practice, let's find an anchor for the wandering mind. So as you inhale and exhale naturally, however you're breathing is perfect. You don't have to create a special breath. Just see however your body is inhaling and exhaling, where do you notice the sensations of the breath most prominently? So as you inhale, could it be the rise and fall of the abdomen or the chest? Could it be the air entering and leaving the nose? Could also be the carriage of the body, just the movement, so a bit of a wider lens. If breath is challenging today, you could take the palms of your hands and rest them on the top of your thighs or a table in front and the point of contact. The feeling of that would be what you return to when the mind wanders. You could also use sound in the background, so just open awareness, receiving the arising and passing of sound. But take a minute to see what's going to work best for you. And go ahead and stay with that for the remainder of the practice. And noticing where the mind is. Just simply releasing the narrative, memory, or planning or worry. Allow the body to soften and then return again to your anchor. And just continue this over and over again. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. May whatever good comes of our practice be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And so, taking a moment, if your eyes were closed, to open the eyes. And usually I just kind of reorient to the room I'm in a little bit, maybe do just a little bit of a stretch. Um, so we've got about 8 minutes or so for questions. Um, so, questions or comments. A book or an app or a podcast that you've been listening to that you really like that is related to practice. So, or anything at all, like any questions that came up for you about this practice and, the idea of allowing, for those of you that are familiar with John Kabat-Zinn, who's, just a wonderful, he's kind of thought of as the godfather of modern day mindfulness. And his definition is moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. And oftentimes, what I have found over the years of teaching is that the word non-judgmental is hard to understand because, and what was happening is people were thinking they were doing it wrong or meditating wrong because the mind had a lot of judgments, which is what our minds, it's not uncommon. So instead of non-judgmental, really what he means in that definition is receptivity to anything that arises. So parts of ourself that we're less pleased with arise, receive, uh, it can be, that definition I found could be a little bit confusing unless it was unpacked. So I thought the poem Allow really beautifully captures really what we're doing in this practice is we're receiving all thought, emotion, and body sensation. Thank you for the poem. Yeah, mind wandered a lot to Suzanne. Yeah, Suzanne was our beloved host of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practices. Yeah, she's very much in my heart and will be always. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the thanks for the hearts. Um, there's a memorial service for her in July, so I just got the invitation to that and was thinking this morning would be good to start with one of her two favorite poets. So anybody else, any other thoughts or questions or observations about your own practice? Yes, yes. So the poet, let me put the poet's name. Um, I Her name's Dana Falls, and honestly, um, I when I first started, so this is the book I'm reading from, which is dog-eared, and when I first started reading her, she's from Kripalu and the yoga center, Kripalu in Western Mass. When I first started reading her, like I just felt she was almost like a modern day Rumi, um, or Hafiz, one of those poets from many centuries ago. She's really great, really great. So highly recommend anything by her, and even starting a day with one of her poems, like just letting it kind of sink in. Anybody else? Um, well, I I think we can call it just a couple minutes early. So I just want to thank you for joining. Really, again, just I love starting the day this way. Love starting the day with all of you, and have a good one. Have a good weekend, and we're back at it on Tuesday morning. Okay, bye everybody.